Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching and or listening to another live edition of the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of geek news, reviews, and answers that you can use like an answer to the question, why am I wearing my Back to the Future 2 hat today? That you may or may not be able to see in case you're listening to the podcast. That's not going to work for you. Although, here's the thing. Should I be doing a weekly podcast instead of the daily podcast, instead of just rebroadcasting TLDR as a podcast? Should it be completely unique? Just audio? Let me know what you think. Really, I am interested. I may experiment one week, with the podcast. But I am absolutely interested in what you think. And if you would subscribe to that, it would be unique content, obviously, in the podcast rather than a rebroadcast of the long form content that we're putting into the Geek Lifestyles channel, this one. So I'm wearing this because I guess this is the year for Back to the Future 2, right? Number one. Number two, I love this hat. It's one of my favorite hats. It's one of the rare things I keep in my office that's not Darth Vader-esque or Star Wars-esque. Because I like it. It's fun. I put it on my Muppet version of me. But today is Be Electrific Day. Be Electrific. This is one of those things that you can get. Do you want your own Back to the Future 2 hat? You can get it. We'll put a link for you in this video's description. We've been tweeting it out from LockerGnome. I love this hat. If you ever see a product like this, just assume I'm going to like it, okay? Anything that glows, I'm a fan of. In fact, there was one of the shoe manufacturers, I don't know, they're all the same to me. They've got some kind of shoe that if you, flash like a light at it, like a flash, not flashlight, but like a flash like you would have on a camera, it'll actually turn colors. Like it looks just bland, and then it'll like have colors pop out when you flash. When you flash, as opposed to flash, or flash. Sorry, I'm like making all these hand gestures. There's a lot of ways that you can interpret the word flash. It's kind of neat. I would probably wear shoes like that if I was a shoe guy, but I'm not a shoe guy, and I'm going to go ahead and take that hat off now because I'm still a little hot. Just wearing my one of the Dia de los Muertos shirts that I have, even though someone, and they are not known to me at this point, sent me the shirt that I've never ordered for myself. It needs to be soaked because it's a little thick and it may be a little itchy for me. I'm very careful. I'm picky when it comes to t-shirts. This shirt, very, very soft. This shirt, not incredibly soft, but incredibly awesome. I'll be soaking it in salt water for a few days to kind of soften it up a bit. But it says, "Welcome to the dark side. We have bacon." Here we go. So I'm going to hold it very still for either Liz or Bob to take a screenshot and link off to the Amazon affiliate program to where you could get your own. If you want to wear your own. If you may not be as picky as I am when it comes to t-shirts. I will be wearing this though. As soon as it softens up, I may have to wash it a few times because this is just all sorts of awesome. I can think of 4 levels of awesome. 1, it's a t-shirt. I do like t-shirts. 2, it's got Darth Vader on it. 3, it's red. And 4, it's got bacon. This is about, I would say, if it was super soft up front, I would say that this is it would easily be the most perfect shirt ever created. Ever. Right there. And I will be wearing it at some point in the future. We have Jump Desktop for the Mac at 59% off, in case you were wondering. And the Apple Watch giveaway is still going on. The SMS Audio Street by 50 headphones at 39% off. All at deals.lockergnome.com. And I believe we also have that Mac Ultimate ebook converter still free. And the Prep Pad Smart Food Scale and Nutrition Tracker at 25% off. Here I thought I was going to get a workout when I got the Apple Watch, so I can track statistics and everything. Although studies are saying that a lot of that fitness tracking is just as effective when it's built into your smartphone. So you may not need a wearable or a watchable or whatever. I do happen to have a watch. It's not a smartwatch. It's not going to track anything, but it was on sale. And look at that. It's got Darth Vader on it. It's a Darth Vader digital watch. I don't know if I ever had a digital watch when I was a kid. I had I think it was a tiny Mickey Mouse watch. I don't know. I think I wore a watch at one point. I don't know. But I saw this was on sale, so I was like, yeah, I'll get it. Sure, why not? It's clearance. How could you pass that up? He's Darth Vader with the digitals on his belly right there. Darth Vader and the digitals. There's a collector. It'll stay inside the package. So, okay, now that I've run through a lot of that, important stuff, very, very important stuff. If you're a fan of Imgur, even though I heard someone call it Imgur the other day, do you call it Imgur or Imgur? Dad doesn't even know what's going on. I'm taking it you did not have an Imgur Pro account? I don't know anybody on this planet who ever had an Imgur Pro account. Well, either way, it could be saving you $24 a year because they're eliminating Imgur Pro. It's now just Imgur. I don't know. I just looked at it as a temporary place to put a graphic. Well, that's easy. Put it there. I used it. Sure. Why not? It was there. That's how I feel like about a lot of web services. It's there. Why not? I'll give it a shot. So I think the next story is fascinating to me on many levels. Maybe not to everybody, but I think this is very important, especially in terms of geeks and nerds and news. Star Wars #1. Oh, you knew I was going there. Star Wars #1, the comic that we talked about when it was released by Marvel, when they took over or retook the franchise, accounted for about 1 in 7 comics that were sold in January, last month. 1 in 7 comics as being tracked. Okay, that's a lot. You know how many hundreds, if not thousands, of comics are out there, series are out there. Star Wars, #1. For a lot of different reasons. I think Star Wars is absolutely huge. A lot of Star Wars fans out there. A great time to pick up the series again, if only because it's canon. Marvel's taking it back. Dark Horse did a fantastic job with it. By the way, yesterday I recorded a CPU episode for everybody, talking about where you could start with collecting Star Wars comics. Hopefully, you'll appreciate that when it's ready and done at John's hand within a week's time. Patrons should get a sneak peek, though we're having some issues on turnaround time. They certainly get a watch behind the scenes as we kind of put that stuff together. So they kind of already seen everything that I'm going to talk about, or should have. And it's just another bonus for them. Everyone gets to watch the CPU episodes. I have to remind people of that. Like, I'm about blue in the face, having said that over and over and over again. People get to see a lot, if not everything that I get to do, or I do. So this is important news, because I think it's big news. I think it's fantastic news. Star Wars is not small. Then today, I didn't realize, this was not on my calendar. This was not something that I was expecting to happen today. I just kind of put it out of mind. I should have put this date on the calendar. It will forever dominate my destiny, because Darth Vader, the first issue right here, 001. What? I got a blank cover. There's nothing on the cover. Oh man, I got ripped off. It's the 001. No, it's the variant. It's a blank cover so that I can hand this to an artist. Or if I wanted to, I could draw it on my own. I wouldn't do that. I gotta find an amazing artist and then get this to them to draw something unique about Darth Vader on the cover of Darth Vader 001. This is a variant cover. Another variant cover right here. This I'm probably going to be hanging up in the office. All right, I'm going to show you why this is awesome. They've been issuing these variant covers for Star Wars 001, Princess Leia 001, but this is why it's awesome. Can you see the difference between the two? Well, of course, you probably could. But what they did was they went back and they made this particular cover of this comic as a variant look like the classic Kenner figure. And they did a fantastic job with the detail on the cover alone. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I've been working all day, but I do plan on certainly reading it at some point in the future, and then also likely hanging it up somewhere in the office. This is art to me. I got to find a way to hang comics up somehow. I don't know how that's going to happen, but this is Darth Vader 001 special variant cover. Released today. I'm going to be collecting that series, obviously, and I will do my best to try to find all the variants, although I'm sure that's going to be very, very pricey. So it's a big deal. It's a huge deal, and I'm very happy to be a part of it. The first Tizen smartphone is a bad Android clone. Wah, wah. I know, some people just want me to talk about smartphones, but this is why I don't really want to talk about smartphones. Tizen's not that great. And I thought it was going to be awesome. I thought Samsung had a chance, and they did have a chance. And apparently early versions of Tizen that they had released were more awesome than the final version of a Tizen smartphone, one of the first Tizen smartphones, if not the first Tizen smartphone to be released, not here in this country, in India. But it's not great. And I'm sure Tizen fanboys and fangirls are really upset at the Ars Technica review, which was rather in-depth. But they're not the only the only team to have lambasted Tizen. It's got promise, but it's a whole bunch of... That was The Price is Right, or that's a whammy. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies, no whammies, stop! It's a whammy. So Tizen is there, and it's being worked on, kind of, but you probably don't want it on your next phone, including your next Samsung smartphone if you get one. I'd expect that they're going to be sticking with Android for the foreseeable future and hope they continue to develop Tizen so that it does become a powerful player in this ecosystem. And it's not even that it lacks apps. I can forgive a platform for lacking apps. I really can, especially when it's beginning. Because I believe that Windows Phone is one of the better platforms available today. I think Microsoft's done a fantastic job with Windows on the smartphone. I had argued that the Windows Phone experience at around 8.0 would have been great on a tablet. They didn't go that direction. They decided to release Windows RT. That's pretty much dead as well. But that doesn't take away from the merits of what they're accomplishing with the operating system. And so for Windows Phone, or what Microsoft's doing with Windows Phone today, just because it's not working in the marketplace does not take away from its technical merit. So I think that, here's the thing. If what they've done with the Windows Phone today was released before the iPhone, Microsoft would still be a major player in that industry, and they just didn't make that decision, which is really kind of sad. And I moved from Windows Phone over to, back then I think they called it iPhone OS, before they evolved it to iOS after they had released the iPad. So I don't think Tizen is being slammed because of the lack of apps as much, because like I said, I think we understand it's not going to have a lot of developers going for it. People have ported over, I guess, certain apps. They ported over WhatsApp, which I guess is popular in India, and they ported it over, and it's horrible. They ported it from Android, and it just looks horrendous, runs like hell, and it's just not a good experience. So I don't know. Tizen's got promise, man. Oh, I really hope they continue to clean it up, but it's right now just a mishmash because it's kind of been a merger of a lot of operating systems that were fully baked-ish, brought together, and now you've got basically splits within the SDK or a series of SDKs that could be used to develop on Tizen. Tizen doesn't have a personality yet, doesn't know what it wants to be. It isn't doing what it needs to do well, and that is just perform in terms of usability. Too much is buried in the menu systems. It doesn't bother me as much, but it's a problem with usability. I mean, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people had an issue with Windows 8. A lot of the interface was buried behind gestures and swipes and menus that they had no idea even existed. Tizen is, I'm not going to say it's suffering, but it's off to a really horrific start, and I hope they get their head screwed on straight, because that's one of the things that's going to pull Samsung through out of the slump of this is a Samsung right now, because they can do better. I believe in Samsung. I believe they can turn their resources back within themselves, create a compelling ecosystem. I need that ecosystem. You need that ecosystem. Whether or not you love or hate Samsung, you need competition in the marketplace. At this stage, I wouldn't even consider Tizen close to a competitor. It's just not everything that I've seen and read from people who know a hell of a lot more and have hands-on experience. I don't think anybody's against Samsung. I'm not against Samsung. I'm just saying that usability-wise, that's not the one thing that you don't want to sacrifice on anything is usability, and that's where they've kind of fallen short with one of the first Tizen smartphones. So hopefully, my suggestion is take some time. If you read an article today, read it. Just read it, and then decide for yourself. I mean, if this is the problem sometimes. Some nerds get it in their head that their way of doing things is superior to everybody else's, and those are obviously the people who dominate the comment threads. And I've learned to ignore them or sweep them to the side. Well, all you got to do is this, and this. You're obviously stupid. Oh, really? Swept aside. So, ultimately, I want to judge for myself. I just haven't had the opportunity to judge for myself. I can only look at it, from a distance, knowing what Samsung needs to do, knowing what other people have seen, and it's just not going to be good enough. It's just not going to be good enough. They needed to bring their A game, and they did not. A lot of good, bad, and ugly, but mostly bad and ugly with Tizen, according to a series of reports, not just the source. I'm not saying that outright. Again, I'm going through a third party. Don't have hands-on experience. I reserve final judgment to when I have a chance to use it for myself. So next, by way of patron Earl Green, and this is actually pretty. It's a nice dovetail to the story I was just talking about. And this is a quote from the article as posted to CNET. The only CNET posts that I like to follow tend to be the ones that Bonnie Burton posts, because she posts awesome things. We're starting to care more about phones that don't exist yet than about the phones we have now. Just think about that for a moment. Are you appreciating the phone you have now, or are you waiting for the phone that you know is going to be released in another 6 months, maybe? That's bad. You're buying something now, or you're going to wait 6 months for a new one to come out? How do you know it's going to be that much better? I mean, do you, right? I mean, is there ever a good time? People ask, well, when's the best time to buy X? Whenever you want. whenever it's going to fulfill your needs, whenever it fits your budget, whenever you're ready. Well, yeah, but I'm afraid that if I buy that something new is going to come out. Well, get in line. It's technology. If something new doesn't come out, we've got a massive problem. Jump in. No time like that. The water's fine. Come on in. It's not too cold. Just come on in. You can wait for the next smartphone to come around and deny yourself that 6 months to a year's worth of experience. Or if if you're ready, just jump in now. Is the new version going to be better? Probably. It's most likely going to happen in the world of technology, but waiting, what are you waiting for? I mean, I understand you're going to make your own decision, but I'm just saying, when it comes to technology, don't wait for the next thing, because there's always going to be a next thing, and you're going to spend your entire life waiting. You know what? Fine. You want to spend your entire life waiting? Knock yourself out. It's your life. I'm just saying, I think it's very ill-advised. Jump in. Don't live in the future. Never buy a product based on the promise of what it might be in the future. I've warned people about that in the past as well. Well, I'm going to go back to Tizen. If you get a Tizen phone now, it's going to get better with the next release. Really? You know that definitively? Do you know that's going to come out? Do you know how many promises have been broken by a variety of tech companies over time? Don't buy a product for its promise of what it might be at some point in the future. Buy it for what it is today. If you're not happy with the device you have right now, or the devices that are out there compared to your devices right now, then you're not ready to leap, right? Or I'm sorry, you're not ready to leap if what you have is better than everything else out there in your opinion. You are ready to leap if you're not happy with the device you're using right now. There's got to be something better for you. I don't care what this isn't about what's better. I don't care. If you want a Tizen phone, knock yourself out. If you think it's better than Android, awesome. You are an amazing person for saying such a thing. I don't care. What I'm telling you is live in the now. Or, wait, deny yourself 6 months, 3 months, a year. Now, if you're a month away from what you know is going to be a new release, I think that's a good time frame to wait. But 6 months to a year? Man. To me, that's sad. I don't know. It just is kind of sad. I don't understand that. Someone explain that to me, because to me it's sad. It's like, enjoy what you got now. It's like me saying, well, my iPhone 6 is okay, but I can't wait for the iPhone 6S. We don't even know what it's going to be called. Oh, the next iPhone is going to be awesome. Really? No one knows anything about it. No one. Don't live in the future. Live in the now. Care more about the things you have in front of you today. Especially when it comes to technology. Because you know what? Here's the worst case scenario. You're going to wait 6 months to buy that new piece of technology that you were waiting for based on a promise. And what happens if it sucks? What if it's horrible? What if it's bad? You know what? I'm not gonna buy this Windows 7 PC, because next year Windows 8's coming out and it's gonna be so much better. Well, we all know how that turned out, didn't we? So I'm saying, live in the now. Appreciate the technology you have now. Look towards the future. Know your plan. But don't look and compare your device, what you have here, compared to a device that isn't out yet. And face an amount of frustration and disappointment. But you know what? Here's the thing. The industry isn't disappointing you if you're doing that. You're disappointing yourself. It's another reason why you shouldn't believe in rumors. I've talked about rumors in the past, and I've always said, this is a rumor. You got to be careful. This is great if the rumor turns out to be true. But I also don't hold the company to that promise, because if the company didn't make the promise, why that's delusional. I would be delusional to be upset at a company for not doing something that was rumored they would actually do. Apple didn't release a TV. They suck. They never promised. Get out of your head for just a moment. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Small bit of nerd rage directed at other nerds at this point. Hard-headed nerds, is that what you're doing, Dad? What is that over there? No, I'm not beating a dead horse. I don't feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I am excited. I'm more excited about the first Ubuntu smartphone than I am about Tizen now. Even though, again, haven't had hands-on experience, talked about it, saw it a long time ago. I did a video seeing an early version of the Ubuntu touch interface. This is a long time ago. Last time I think it was at CES. So the first Ubuntu smartphone is going to focus on scopes rather than individual apps. So you swipe between page and page and page, and instead of having individual apps that you dive into, think of it like individual experiences that are a collection of experiences. So like music, you swipe over to the music scope or tab, if you will, whatever they want to call it. And you've got all the things that might be related to music, and you swipe over and then the photos and all the things related to photo and video and all the things related to photo. So it's less app centric. And you know what? I think that's a smart approach. I love apps. I love apps. In fact, I'm going to make a recommendation to you today, right now. Go ahead and pull this out. I've been using this. I talked about it a long time ago in TLDR. It's the Mophie pack that the cable goes into it there and it slims down, very pocketable. This is not even the high milliamp version either. I wish I got the higher version, but I didn't. Rooster? No, it's not called Rooster. I swear it had a rooster icon though. No, not a rooster, a squirrel. It's called Nutshell. And what you can do with Nutshell, this is made by the company that does Prezi. It's free. So what you can do here is basically you take a series of photos. So I take a photo there, and then I move it around to there, and I take another photo, and then I move it over to Dad, and I take another photo. So I take 3 photos, and what it does is it basically stitches together a story of sorts. And I realize that the brightness on the screen is very, very dim, or bright, too bright. Let me go ahead and dim it down a bit. Download the app. It's free, at least on iOS. So it's basically creating a story, and then I can... annotate is not really even the word I want to use, but I can add text to this scene. See, I can drag that around, and it even has perspective. So add text. So I'm going to tap that. I tap that and say screen! Exclamation mark, and then done, and then I can move that around. It says screen, and then I can go in and also add these stickers of sorts, including like dancing animals and jelly beans, and there's a little monster thing that I can place right there, and the monster's animated. Okay, so now I've added that, and then I move on to the next scene. So it jumps over to there. Okay, so now I add the text for this, and then I go screen again, and done, and then add the text for Dad. Done. And so basically, you're annotating and you're moving things around, and it creates these small stories which you can export as individual videos and have fun with it, basically. It's really free. They released it today. It's called Nutshell. That is not a rooster. It is a squirrel. Moose and squirrel. It's a squirrel. Just remember that. It's for Boris and Natasha there, that little thing there. So I love apps, but I wouldn't expect Nutshell to jump onto Ubuntu anytime soon. So this is their way of kind of dancing around the problem of not having enough apps, making scopes. And I think it's a good approach. I think it's a solid approach. Very much looking forward to seeing it in action, as I think many people are. Like I said, at this point, I'm more excited about that than I was about Tizen, if only because of all the reviews I've read about it. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't even know. I want to spend some time with it, but I'm definitely not going to bend over backwards for it. Ubuntu, still got a shot. I really do believe that. Especially in comparison with to Tizen in terms of how they've approached usability. So there's talk of landlines basically going away. I like landlines for what they are and what they were. I mean, the power goes out, you can still use a landline. That's very, very valuable. But some people are still tethered to a landline, and I don't know if that's going to be around for the foreseeable future. Most people have moved on to the pocket computer. This is their primary line, or they have multiple lines going into one pocket computer. And that's something that once you realize how you're using the technology, knowing how and when to make that step forward. You always have this computer on you. You don't always have the phone on you because you can't necessarily. I mean, you've got a certain wireless range if it's a wireless phone at the house, or if it's corded or tethered to the wall through some kind of cable or cord. At one point, we didn't really have a choice, but I think we've kind of moved on from landlines. But I don't know if I really want to see them go away all the way. Whether they're managed differently or certainly come with different rates. I think having that backup there is good for now, because right now you just can't count on electricity. You can't count on broadband. You can't count on some of the things that we've come to count on. And having the landline there could very well, spell the difference between disaster and success. So, there's been talk that landlines are going to be disappearing, and it's kind of sad. We talked today about some other things that have been disappearing in our separate Q&A video that I recorded before shooting this live video. But I don't know if the world's ready for landlines to disappear. At least here in America, I don't think we're ready for it. Maybe 10 years, it'll be time. Maybe 10 years. But right now, I don't know if I'd count on technology that much.
Landlines, as it relates to phones?
Yes, phones. When they say a landline, they're talking about copper wire right into the house.
That's how I get my internet into my house.
Right, that is how you get internet into your house. Now, 10 years from now, most of the internet that you might be able to get into your house is going to be wireless. Most of the electricity, I'd wager, within 10 to 20 years is going to be wireless.
I don't know how they can do that. I'm sure they'll figure it out.
How are they going to do that? Science, Dad. Science. They're doing it. It's not even proof of concept. They're like, here, this is a working prototype. This is what we've done. Proof of concept, I guess, kind of. But they've done it. They can power a TV with wireless electricity. But give it time. 20 years. 20 years. Conservatively, I'd say 20 years. 20 years. Wireless electricity. Certainly the internet. We're going to be going that direction. It's a given. It's just going to be there. The internet's going to be there. Electricity's going to be there. You're not going to think about it. You're not going to be tethered into the wall. I wouldn't have imagined that 10 years ago. Most of the stuff that I might need to do, I could do it the way that I'm doing it today. Using this, I remember having to go to a computer to check email. That's antiquated, right? This, completely different. You go to your computer? No. Your phone is your email.
More and more.
That's what I'm saying. Because it works. If you're interested in trying some new software, Office 2016, that's going to be its official title, from Microsoft. Consumer Technical Preview has been opened up to everyone. You can sign up for it. If you want, would I recommend it? Sure, if you want to see what's coming down the pike. I'm not as excited about it because I'm not a huge fan of Office. There are fans of Office. I'm not one of them. I tolerate it, but it's like any other software for me. Google Docs, Word, what's the Apple equivalent that I never use? Pages. No, Numbers is Apple's Excel. Right. They're tools. And as far as I'm concerned, I know that different nuances and interfaces, but they're all the same. For the most part, they're the same. Or they'll eventually get to the point where they're increasingly approaching the point where they're the same. I've upset a lot of people by saying Android and iOS are the same as far as users are concerned, which isn't exactly accurate for a lot of different reasons. But you want to check your email? You can check it on your iPhone. You can check it on your Android device. Check it either way. Be careful about the apps you download, though. Especially if you're using Android. That's getting scary. Oh, there was an exploit for users who had an old version of Flash and used Internet Explorer to visit Forbes not long after Thanksgiving. Apparently, Chinese hackers had exploited the thought of the day part where they injected, they did bad things. If the user went to that thought of the day, had a version of Flash, like a 0-day exploit of Flash, and Internet Explorer, they could have been toppled.
You mean crash their computer?
No, basically take it over. So, I'm not a fan of Flash. Here's my approach to Flash. You know how I feel about blocking. You know how I feel. I don't feel good about blocking anything. I block pop-ups, and I've begun to whitelist. I've begun to whitelist Flash. I whitelist it.
Is that a player?
No. Flash is it's a player, right? But it's horrifically just way past its prime. It was great at one point in the past, but not anymore. Number one, it's really bad if you're on mobile. So on a notebook computer, having anything that's running Flash, it's going to peg your CPU and drain your battery like that. So I'm not a fan of Flash. I've begun to whitelist, and so you're going to get whitelisted. Like YouTube. YouTube at one point used Flash, not so much anymore. It's always a surprise to me seeing what really they rely on Flash. It's kind of like relying on Java anymore. Like really, Java? I guess I'm moving on. I don't use Java. I don't use Flash. The fewer frameworks I have to worry about updating that could be security problems at any point in the future, the happier I am. The fewer things you have to deal with. This is the thing with technology. The more people want to bring it into their lives, the more problems you're introducing. You don't even know half the problems you're introducing to your life. You don't. What was it? Car manufacturers, basically, the other day I sent you that email. With as much technology as getting packed into the car, with no mind of security going into the car.
They can affect your braking.
They can affect anything. Car manufacturers don't care about security. That's not what they do. They care about getting you from point A to point B and making sure you survive a crash. That's great. The problem is the kind of crashes they're not accounting for are being more tightly built into the actual vehicle itself. So now instead of having to deal with just mobile computers, we're dealing with driving computers. and I'm telling you, this is where I'm getting a little like, you know what? I like technology, but that's a lot of problems. And I've said it before, as many people that are smartifying their home, I'm actually going through and dumbifying it. I'm happy to dumbify my home because I just don't trust these devices. I don't trust these computers. I don't trust them. Don't trust them. Don't trust the software. They don't... What, Dad? Oh. I'm very careful about what I choose to bring into my house. I'm just going to say that. You know what? You know what technology that really makes me happy? Toothbrushes. This electronic toothbrush... No firmware updates, no security to worry about. You basically press this button.
Join me and we'll complete your training.
And it glows. It's a Darth Vader lightsaber toothbrush with this little shield there. I got this in for the vlog yesterday. I'm challenging people. I'm like, I'm going to keep it in the packaging. I'm going to keep it in the packaging. Why does nobody ever make animated GIFs of me anymore? If we get 1,000 likes for that vlog, then I'm saying I'm going to remove it from the packaging. Whether people do that or not, I don't know. Someone made this. I don't know who. It is a Hello Kitty Darth Vader. It's unofficial. This was never official at all, but she's got a bow. Darth Vader right there is Hello Kitty. It's got a Velcro. It's Velcro on the back as a patch. Okay, I'm done. I'm moving on. I'm going to a less technical toothbrush here. Nothing that glows, but there is Darth Vader there on that side. Luke Skywalker in the middle, and then back behind there C-3PO. So it let me know when I was finished brushing my teeth effectively with that. That's right. It's a timer. It's pretty smart. Why didn't they have that when I was growing up? This is the technology we had when I was growing up. So I may be removing it from the packaging, if only because, I mean, yes, it'd be nice to have the full package, but when it comes to collecting items, I usually, if it's just one Darth Vader item, I'll remove it from the packaging. I don't want a Luke Skywalker thing. Then I also have this special pin from 2009, a limited edition pin. It's a Disney pin. They make a lot of these pins. I collect the ones that have Darth Vader on them or Darth Vader's likeness. And then this one, which I'm really, really happy to have, it's a Darth Vader Dia de los Muertos pin right there. And if that looks familiar at all, this was a pattern that I picked up on Etsy that I ended up handing to a friend who said that she'd be able to do something with it. Jasmine, if you want fine art, this is about as fine as it gets. This is the most amazing original Darth Vader piece of art that I have. Jasmine did an amazing job with it. But she basically made that effectively out of this pattern. This Vader pin, Dia de los Muertos pattern. It's an official Disney pin right there. I honestly, I'm even wearing Dia de los Muertos stuff. I always liked it. I don't know. I just like the style of art that I've seen with a lot of Dia de los Muertos stuff. So I think that's about all I might have had today to show you. I'm pretty sure. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, well, I've run through just about everything I might have needed to run to. Hopefully made about everybody that needed to be made happy. You can't make anybody happy. You're either happy or you're not. And if you're happy and you know it, click the like button. If you're happy and you know it, click the like button. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, click the like button. But if you're not happy, then just please go away. Oh, I'm confident the people who are not happy did not pay attention past the first 30 seconds before they made up their mind what it was that I was saying before I said it. Thank you, everybody, for paying attention this deeply into this piece of content. I do appreciate your support. I do love you. I do appreciate you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices as I move on to hang out with the patrons.